you only have 2 service, that's why.
So should I move it?
No, I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe the service isn't great out here, but it's all good. 10 people, 18 people, 34 people.
Hi everybody, happy Tuesday and welcome to Home Together. We're still home together. I'm Maria.
I'm Patrick.
My son. Several people were like, oh, I just discovered that Patrick is your son. Well, we're home together.
Let's try to fix this.
And yes, he is my son. I have 2 sons. One is Patrick and one is Christopher, who's still at school in Ann Arbor, go Blue. He's a senior at Michigan. And then you have 2 sisters who are here. So we've been doing these home together chats. We've been having a great time doing them. People have been so encouraging about them. So many of you have said that you find them motivating, interesting, and you've suggested all kinds of people to us to speak with, which has been really exciting. So
I'm curious to see who on here right now is new to the Home Together. If you just comment saying that you're new, it seems like we've had a lot of the same people coming and watching, which has been great, and that this is a time that's worked for a lot of people. And we're really glad to see all the direct messages and comments that we've been getting after, saying that this is something you guys have been looking forward to every day, and it's a quick, powerful 20 minutes. I'm new.
Come
That's
on,
great.
man. Oh, good. Hi, Patrick.
So if you're new and you've missed some of our other ones, you can find it on, at Maria's YouTube or on her Instagram page, or I think that I've had some on my YouTube page.
Jim Quick. He's
hey,
great.
Jim, how are you?
He's great. You should follow him. He keeps your mind going, your brain empowered. He's so great. We should have him actually on here.
Yeah, he would be great. And
awesome.
Look, there's a lot of new people today, so it's growing each and every day. And we've had great conversations with people like Ed Milet and Hoda.
Mel Robbins, right? Timothy
Bethany,
Shriver, Bethany Frankel,
Joe Kennedy.
Yes.
We're
doing Guy Fieri on
Guy
Thursday.
Fieri this week. And
on all the work he's doing.
Yes, Guy Fieri is an amazing chef and TV personality, but he's also now helping a lot of restaurant owners and people that have franchises and people that have been working in restaurants to help them during this time, since this has been a big impact on the brick and mortar section of our economy and on restaurants. So
hi, Linda. She said she looks forward to these every day. That's good.
Great. Yes, they won't let you wear your hat anymore. No, I have my hat right here. Live lucky, but I keep it on the side now because everyone. But as you can see, my beard each and every day has been getting bigger and bigger. So I'll probably need to go.
How about some regular folks? So that's great. I'd love to have. We try to answer a lot of regular folks on Instagram, and that was actually one of the questions that we're going to be asking Jen. And so we want to just say that we invited Jen Garner on here. She's an incredible humanitarian, works so much with Save the Children as an advocate for kids, for reading programs, and she started this great thing along with Amy Adams called Save with Stories, and they're raising money for No Kid Hungry, since so many kids get their food every day from schools. And so she has a lot of well-known people reading stories. I did that. You're going to do that.
Yes, I am.
And your sister and her husband, your other sister's going to do that.
Yes.
My brother Mark runs Save the Children, or is the boss of Save the Children, or I shouldn't say that because he'll say, like, I'm not the boss, don't say that. But I think he's the boss.
I think a lot of people have asked about doing Jennifer Garner and have been excited about her, and we're excited to talk with her not only about how great of a mother and family person she is, how great of an actress and philanthropist and everything, but really how she's shifted this time right now to coming up with the books at home and the reading at home, and finding ways to benefit and help save the children and a lot of these kids that are out of school right now and not, getting educated as they were. So hopefully that she chimes in here soon and we will get started.
And Mark Shriver says, I'm not the boss. What did Mark Shriver say? I'm not the boss. I'm just one person on the team. My brother Mark Shriver is not the boss. He's just one person on the team. He's actually the boss, but he's also on the team. and he made sure to correct the link that was in my bio.
Okay, well, someone asked, do you have a schedule of guests you could share with us? Yeah,
Yes.
We've been posting on our Instagrams usually the day before, and actually sometimes when we book people in advance, we'll put it, giving you guys kind of an update of who's coming, but we've been doing this every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. here in Los Angeles, and on the weekends we've shifted the time to more of the morning, but we will let you know when we have more people confirmed, and a lot of you guys are saying that can we have some quote-unquote normal people on here. We are planning on doing that. A lot of the people we've actually talked to that have small businesses or that are out there in the field right now have been so busy during these this kind of time period during the weeks that they asked to go on the weekends or some other time. So that will be coming, and we're going to interview, I think this weekend, some of the small business owners and how they're dealing with all this and shifting. I think Jennifer Garner just asked to join, so let's see how that. Her in here.
Waiting for Jennifer. And so I wrote down several of the questions that people asked me to ask Jen.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I was trying to look nice and I showered, but that's just, I was like 30 seconds ago. That's time in quarantine. It just is weird. So I'm clean. For the record, I'm clean for you.
There, you're clean. Your hair, you did more than I did. I didn't wash my hair, but you did. You washed your hair, so good for you.
I washed my hair the other day, but I just took my hat
Hi,
off.
Patrick.
And people give me compliments.
So Jen, I want to introduce you to Patrick. He said I've not met Jennifer. So
I know we haven't met. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I mean, I've seen you in our community and at some coffee shops and everything, but I don't ever, I guess, say hi, which I should, but I don't. Well, I don't know you, so I don't want to just come up and be a random person. But
well, next time, please do.
Yes, next time I will. Coffee on me next time.
Okay.
So Jen, we got a lot of questions about Save with Stories, which is great. But first, several people said, how is she doing with 3 young kids at home? I also have young kids at home. How is she managing? So that I think it's a great place to start, because millions of people are finding themselves at home trying to become teachers.
Yes. Well, I feel I'm in the lucky camp. My kids all have had online school, and their teachers have been the teachers, and they've done an amazing job. So, so far I haven't had to really dive into that very much. Parenting and teaching are a tough mix.
Yeah.
No kid wants to hear from their parent. I just think back to my dad teaching me how to parallel park, and we almost killed each other. It was like the worst parenting child day we'd ever had. Those things are tough to go together. So hopefully their teachers hang in there for us.
But let's talk a little bit about Save with Stories, because this is something you started with Amy Adams. Talk a little bit about it, what you're trying to do, where you got the idea.
Well, the idea was Amy's. The idea was totally Amy. She called me and said, I want to do something where our community reads books and raises money to help kids for whom school closures mean no food. And I said, oh my gosh, those are the communities that I work in. With Save the Children, and obviously with your brother Maria and your uncle Patrick. And so Mark and I had just been to Kentucky the week before, and we had just met with the governor, the school superintendent, the school principal. And as this was all starting, all they could think about and talk about was, how are we going to get food to these kids? But it's not just food. Also in these communities, the summer slide is so huge. They lose, a huge chunk of the learning from the school year during the summer months. And we knew that if school were to shut down early, which, we see that it has, that could be like losing an entire year of school, which is just in these communities so hard to make up. And they don't have books at home. Less than 50% of the kids that Save the Children is helping in the US have broadband or computers. And so it's not like they can't be on Zoom school if they wanted to be. They can't, and they don't have books. The schools can't afford to ink or paper, and often they'll make the food, but then to get them out into the middle of nowhere, they need money for gas or for a bus driver, and it's more than they can handle. So I said, okay, Amy, this is a fantastic idea. And I think I called Mark at 11 o'clock at night. And the next morning, we were on it. Save was really on it and built the back end. And we decided early, like first thing, to partner with No Kid Hungry, because their specialty is food, our specialty is education. They're more urban, suburban, and we're more rural. And we felt like it would be a great marriage to make sure that we are impacting as many kids as we can, getting them food and getting them school supplies.
That's awesome. And first off, we want to say thank you so much for all the work you have done and that you are continuing to do. And a lot of the people we've been talking with on this series have shown examples of being able to kind of shift their mindset and shift their business. And although this isn't a business, this is philanthropic work, you guys got on top of it so quick and came up with this whole series and the reading the books at home. What's kind of your words of advice for a lot of people out there right now that are kind of struggling with what they should do next and that are, you know, being at home with all these kids and needing to find a way to kind of shift their mindset?
Well, I found this community, this Instagram community, to be really inspiring and really helpful. Just ideas of things to do to pass the time. I mean, suddenly washing the car can be a full day activity, and you just, a way to insert some fun into the day is just so important. Certainly on Instagram, you can go on to Save with Stories and watch. You know, we have amazing actors. Maria, you're there, and Catherine and her husband Chris, and I think Christina might read first, and maybe Patrick will. But it's pretty cool. We have 89 stories up from all kinds of people, wonderful books that I'm sitting here geeking out, matching people with books. Anyway, so that's available, and gosh, just supporting each other however you can.
Right.
Jen, a lot of people asked, will there be a chance for, quote, regular people to read books? Or do you have to be really?
Yeah, no, read them, and they're going into the stories on top. And it's just me and Mo doing this at home. So when that kind of goes away, it'll just be taken over by people.
So how do people, if they want to read a story, if they want to get involved with you, with Save with Stories and No Kid Hungry, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, you would just video yourself reading a story. You'd hold the phone vertically because it's going to go into the stories, and you post it, and you just hashtag Save with Stories, right? And at whatever that means. You do the at sign and at Save with Stories. This is all beyond me. And you would do that, and then Save with Stories will put a few up every night, or a bunch up every night. Why not?
Oh, that's great. So people who wrote in and asked questions, could they actually read a book? The answer is yes, you can.
Absolutely. Please do.
What Jen just said. So it's not just famous people reading books. You can read a book. Anybody can read a book if you follow. And also Mark said that he would continue to put the link up as we talk, because I don't know a lot of the at or
I can help you a little bit.
You can help us with that.
I think at Save the Children.
No, at Save with Stories.
Save with Stories.
Yeah, Save with Stories. Yeah, and if you want to give $10, you text the word SAVE to 20222. $10.
And where did you come up with the $10, Jen? Which I think is genius.
You know, initially we had talked about it being a larger donation, but everybody's freaked out right now. Everybody, you know, the world is so full of people that want to give. I know that. I've seen it. I get to be in homes where people really don't know where their next meal is coming from, and they're still thinking about their neighbor and who has less than they do. And still they are feeling the pinch. Everyone is. So we just wanted to make it a number that most people could, where people could participate and feel good about it, without feeling strange by it.
And your company, Once Upon a Farm, also contributed like $50,000.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I was so incredibly moved, and it's the beginning of a partnership between Once Upon a Farm and Save the Children that we have, of course, been working on for a long time, because Once Upon a Farm is all about getting great, nutritious, farm fresh food to all kids, not just kids who, you know, shop at fancy grocery stores. So we're really, I'm so touched and moved and proud of the company for stepping up in this way, especially when little companies like ours, we're like, you know.
Right. It's been so difficult for a lot of smaller companies.
Talk about that.
Well, first I want to say kind of a little bit of what you just talked about, because we talked about this on our past, which is if you're feeling hopeless, the best way to counteract that is to be helpful. And I think that's so amazing to say when you're going into households that people don't even know when their next meal is, and then they're in turn thinking about their neighbors. They're thinking about how can I help other people, and I think that's so beautiful what you did with the $10 and coming up with this whole campaign. But for a lot of you followers out there, that's one of the words of advice that we've seen is go from hopeless to helpful. And I think that furthermore, on the topic of small businesses, we've been talking with a bunch of small business owners, people that have had to have spent their whole life or whole savings pouring into their small business ideas and getting to their point where they are today. And you're a small business owner as well. So can you talk about how you guys have been trying to deal with that and maneuver around this kind of economic time?
I think in all ways, it's all about just being nimble and being adaptive and instantly figuring out what's working. How can we help? How can we help the moms who are who rely on our little company and on our food and for their kids and their families? And how do we get it to them? So we're beefing up our e-commerce. We're making that, trying to make sure that we have produce and stock and ready to go out to families who want it. And we're in stock in Target and in Whole Foods. And I mean, I if I even start that, I'll get in trouble in Walmart and all kinds of places. We're in stock. And we're just trying to make sure that we stay on the shelves for people.
Right.
Yeah. So we should just mention that's called Once Upon a Farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's nutritious food for kids, but also big kids.
Yeah.
He eats it all the time. We have it in our refrigerator, and not just because it's Jen's company, but also because it has a mission behind it. First of all, because it's good, but it has a mission behind it. And I was so happy to see them stepping up, even when small companies are struggling. There's been so many small companies who've stepped up to help nonprofits like Save the Children or stepped up with Save with Stories. Has that been surprising to you to see small companies who, as you said, are struggling themselves to step forward and try to help at this time?
I mean, just this morning we were on a Save board call, and Ulta Beauty just gave a huge donation to Save the Children US programs, and that's it. All their stores are closed right now. And to think that they would right now in the middle of everything still, and you know what, it really is true. And I tell my kids, whenever you're freaked out about something, don't look at yourself, look out, just look out. And I know that as much as, I hope Save with Stories is helpful, of course I do, but it's been so helpful to me to have this focus and to ping pong back and forth between my kids and baking and trying to be fun and trying to be helpful in any way and cleaning and all the things that were, that just run a house, and then coming back and really focusing on something that I feel like, okay, we're trying, even we're doing something. It's small, but you know what though, we're starting to be Save Netherlands is up and running, or Save with Stories Netherlands, Save with Stories Australia, Spain, like other countries are getting up and running. So Amy Adams had a really good idea.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's actually a very simple idea. I think sometimes people think they have to start a big, nonprofit, they have to save the entire country. But I think what that is, you started with a simple idea that took over, or people cooking for their neighbor or cooking for someone down the road. All of these individual acts of service, as you said to your kids, look out, help you in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Huge.
And I like what you're saying. I feel like you have to help in ripples. You have to help the people closest to you. You have to help people, in your church and school communities or whatever communities you belong to. And then you look out and like, where can I be of service and how? And you have to always be on the lookout for small little ways.
So Mark was saying yesterday that Save the Children, it's getting harder and harder for them to actually do their work because of social distancing. And so what are they doing in order to keep doing their work?
There is no substitute for boots on the ground. And I've been on so many calls about it today. We are boots on the ground across the world and across the country. And whether that is refugee camps in Bangladesh or it's, in South Sudan, everyone is being impacted and everyone has to help. So the first thing we're doing is keeping staff and people who work for Save and their families safe and making sure they have the protection they need. And then everyone is just adapting to the needs of their community seamlessly. So for Save the Children US, we go and do home visits, and a lot of the families, that's the only human interaction they have And they really look forward to that. So we're continuing those over the phone and just continuing. This is our educational goal. We're going to continue with this. And in addition to that, how can we help make sure that you have food? How can we make sure that there are books in your home? How can we? So it's just outreach and being an ear, but also making sure that, you know, we were talking about in the slums of India or in Africa, we are, you know, putting out radio ads about washing your hands. We have trucks going down the street with speakers on top talking about how to wash your hands. We're teaching kids and sending soap home from school. I mean, they're just, it's a pretty huge, really impressive organization with people running it, that this is their life's work. And I just feel lucky to get to listen.
So I think that a lot of people on here are wondering, I think that, like you had mentioned, the most important thing is boots on ground. And one of the most odd things about this, the coronavirus, is that we can't really be, you know, for all the followers and listeners and watchers right now, we can't really be boots on ground. So what are other ways that people that maybe that aren't in a financial situation to help give right now, what are other ways that you can recommend that they help spread the message or find other ways to help kids in need?
Well, they can read a story for us or tell their friends about Save with Stories. They can, there are things you can do. I signed up for something, I can't remember what it's called, where my kids and I are calling senior citizens on Sundays and just wishing them well and saying hello. Reach out to people in your community and say, I want to drop a bag of groceries at your door, and show up with gloves on and a mask so they aren't scared. And then do it, you know, like find one person that you can be helpful to. And it doesn't have to be grand. It really doesn't.
I love that, Jen. And, you know, I'm always wondering, like, what moved you to do all of this? What got you thinking, like, I want to get involved with Save the Children. I want to make this as important as my acting, because you spend a huge amount of your time working on their behalf, traveling on their behalf, advocating on the behalf of these kids. What was that inside of you that got you going into this?
Well, I think that it's two things. I think my mom grew up really poor, really poor. My dad grew up poor. My mom grew up, you know, more so. And education was their way out. And if they hadn't gotten a leg up here or there, you know, because they did get a leg up here and there, my sisters and I had a world of opportunities in front of us. And we've gotten to travel, and we've gotten to, then it's assumed that my kids will go to college. It's just one generation difference. And also I grew up in West Virginia, which is my favorite place in the world. And where my family was middle class, but I was definitely in a world where people were very much struggling and still are. And it just felt unfair to me. So I actually hunted Mark down 12 years ago. I was told that he was the guy to talk to about, you know, the question is, what made Mark decide to work with, you know, and spend his life working on poor kids in rural US? He's really, there's only one of him. So, and
Shriver.
Really,
that's Mark Shriver.
Yes.
It's in the comments section somewhere. So Mark, if you want to answer why you devoted your life to doing this, feel free to reply there.
Yes, but keep going, Jennifer. I just wanted to make, they were like Mark Ho, so I wanted.
Oh yes, Mark Shriver. And yes, and so then it's just, once you go to enough homes and you meet the people that you're fighting for, they just grab a hold, you know, you just really see yourself in them, and you see them in you, and you just feel like, well, you don't have a voice. Here I am. What can I do? And the more you do, the hungrier you are to do more.
I think it's an addicting feeling as well. I mean, there's the famous line of, it's always better to give than receive. And whenever I feel like I do acts of kindness or charitable giving or anything like that, the feeling that you feel afterwards is, you know, better than any other feeling that you can experience in the world. So we really appreciate you doing that. I think that one of the things that we've all asked a bunch of people, especially ones that have families, what are something that you're really grateful for right now? Something that could be small. I mean, for example, with me, I'm living again with my mom, who I haven't lived with since I've been in high school. And we're getting to spend moments together of having dinner with each other every night. We got to play a Monopoly board game last week, which we haven't played a board game. So it's like little things right now, besides being healthy is what I'm most fortunate for, and my mom being healthy. But has there been anything that you've just gotten to do during these days that you would never have done without being self-quarantined and isolated?
I mean, so many things. I feel my cup runneth over. I feel kind of overwhelmed with gratitude with my kids being here and being healthy and being funny, and they're big enough to be pretty independent a lot of the time, but small enough to not be trying to escape, you know. And I'm so proud of how they're rising to the challenge and how they're treating each other most of the time. But just getting to spend that time with them and have my middle schooler, who's so busy and her life is so consumed, and to just have her home, I feel really grateful for. I mean, I just can't even. And to have women in the house with me we're just a tribe here all together, and that feels, I'm lucky.
Well, I want to thank you, Jen, so much. There's so many comments on here that just thank you for your work. Thank you for being so inspiring. Patrick's looking through all of these comments, but they're all really kind of thanking you for Save with Stories, thanking you for what you're doing on behalf of others. And I know you're super busy with your Pretend Cook show, which I follow all the time. You're like so creative there, Pretend Cook show. You're reading, you're cooking, you're feeding chickens, you're working with your kids, and most important, as you said, this community here is a very kind of, even though you have so many followers, it's quite a tight-knit community, and you can really reach out to people and see people and connect with them and know what's going on in their lives. So I want to thank you so much. Once again, it's Save with Stories.
Save with Stories.
Save with Stories. Anybody can read. You do not have to be famous. What does that say?
Save with Stories.
Mm-hmm. That's the app. See, that's how you do it.
It might be. And then remind us what the number is so I can comment to everybody.
It is to give $10, you type the word SAVE and you text that to 20222.
So Patrick,
Save to 20222.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Patrick is.
I just posted that on the comments, so if people want to donate, I will go and do that right now as well.
And I just saw Cheryl Lowe on here, and Cheryl Lowe, they want you and Rob Lowe to read a story. So if you guys are sitting up there watching, they're trying to reach you, Jen and Mark. So there you go. Maybe we
Come on, Rob.
Come on, Rob.
Come on, Rob. Come on, Patrick.
I'm going to. I was reading. The book I had was Catherine's book, which Mark said I'm not allowed to read another of Catherine's book.
But Jen sent me a book so you can read it. No excuses. It'll
No
be done.
excuses.
We're on it. Don't worry.
Okay, Jen, thank you
Thanks so much.
Keep up the good work. Keep inspiring. We'll see you in the neighborhood.
Okay. See you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
So very inspiring. I loved that anybody can do Save with Stories. Anybody can read. And if it's not in your country yet, you can start it.
Yes,
So,
I think that anybody can do that. That was one of the big takeaways. Another one was, I think she affirmed the idea of when you're feeling hopeless to become helpful. That
yes.
She found that in so many households that she was going into, whether they were living paycheck to paycheck or not knowing when the next meal was going to come, they were still worried about how was their neighbor doing? How can they help other people? And that internally made them feel so great. So I think that's a beautiful line. When you're feeling hopeless, turn to becoming helpful.
And I love that. So, and if it's not in your country yet, you can start it wherever you are, in whatever language you read in or talk in. So that is super inspiring. And also, if you're at home with young kids, to encourage them to look out. Mm-hmm. My dad used to always say, break the mirror. Break the mirror. So, because if you're looking in the mirror, you're looking at yourself. If you break the mirror, it will enable you to look beyond. And he used to always say that in the end, it will be the servants who save us all. So I think that's a great piece of advice. Look out, look across the street, look next door, pick up the phone, make a call. So Jen Gardner, Save with Stories, Save the Children.
Save the Children.
Save the Children, Save
at
with
Mark
Stories.
Shriver.
At Mark Shriver.
And
at Jen
let's see,
Gardner.
we can quickly go and see if there's any of these.
To bring inspiring people like Jen Gardner, although she's unique and everybody's unique in their own way. We're going to keep trying to do small business owners to talk about what they're doing and go to Budapest. If you want to start this in Budapest, you can do that. You should go to Save with Stories and they'll tell you how to do that, or in South Africa. So I don't know how to do that, but they'll tell you how to do that. And
I think actually I'm seeing a lot of comments about people that are alone and wondering how to get through this. So I think it affirms the idea of people, you can do something as simple as reaching out to someone else, texting them, calling them, sending an email. I just put out a post about this today, but during times like these, it goes a long, long way to reach out to somebody else. I know that we're both trying to reach out to people we know that are living alone, that are isolated by themselves, that are running businesses, small businesses, that are out on the front lines. Anybody, if you can just reach out to them and check in and see how they're doing, it will go a long way and it'll mean a lot for them.
Yeah, we spoke with Rob Lowe yesterday actually about the challenges people have for sobriety. So if you know anybody struggling with their sobriety, pick up the phone. There are a lot of online gatherings, so that's an important thing to remember if you have kids. Mark Shriver saying he just said Save the Children
is happening in a lot of different countries now.
Okay, but Mark, you're going to take that Save the Children. We'll take all your questions about Save the Children, Save with Stories in other countries, and we put the text up for No Kid Hungry, $10 for No Kid Hungry. That will help kids who are hungry to get the food that they need in this country. And so we want to thank you so much. Mark Shriver, if you want to come on, we can add you on if you want to request to join, and then you can reiterate anything that Jen said. But
it'd be fun to go through and do some other people at some point as well.
Right, exactly. I don't know.
Just click them. Right?
Okay, go ahead, Kathy. All right, we're adding.
We're going to add some random people in here just to
Mrs.
quickly
Kathy
say hi and
now.
wonder if how they're. Oh, nope, Kathy declined.
Okay, she went away.
Oh, she went away.
She went away.
Let's see here. How about Braden? Braden is now offline as well. We're 0 for 2.
Okay.
All right, Shelby. Let's see if Shelby answers or not.
Oh, I didn't know that we could. Please repeat that quote, Maria. Please repeat that quote. It's a quote from Sergeant Shriver. Hi.
Hi. Oh my
How are you?
stars. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked too because I've never done this before. But thank you for listening to our Home Together series.
I'm loving it. It's like keeping me sane.
Oh, yeah? Is there anything that we can try to do better of reach out to certain types of people? Or are you trying to get any certain information during these? Or are you just enjoying it as a break from your day?
And where do you live?
I live in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's wild that I live here. I still can't believe it. But my family's in Ohio and California, so I'm technically alone up here, but I still have people. But no, I just love it. Like, it's like a refreshing thing to not see like sad news.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm trying to stay informed, but also like it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a balance everybody's
There's like a lot of noise and you don't want to hear all of it.
I think that's I think what we've been trying to do is bring some positivity from not only our side, but bring other people in to give insights of how they can be helpful and positive and shift their mindset in business and everything instead of just focusing on more of the negative news per se. So
somebody just said, did you just add a random person? We didn't. She's not random. Give us 2 minutes. Who are you? Yes, we just added a total stranger.
Stranger, but
I'm
yes.
a stranger.
No, you're not anymore.
No. You want to know who I am?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so my name is Shelby. I am 28 and I live in Alaska. I'm a writer. Not like famous writer, but I am a writer. But right now I'm a personal assistant for a family in their household, but I'm not going to work because they're doctors.
Yeah.
And I'm immunocompromised, and it would just not be smart for me to go over there and succumb myself to the germs. So I'm hunkered down. So I've been writing a lot, reading a lot, trying to just ease my mind
Well, Shelby, I'm so glad that you joined us. I'm so glad you requested to come on live, and we're so glad to meet you. And
I'm glad to meet you. This is crazy.
Even though you say you are alone, you're not alone. You're part of this community. And
no, I'm not alone. And I got Jesus.
Together. Yeah.
Yes,
I got all my time with the Lord. So it's been good. I feel like God has been really kind to just be like the ultimate comfort. And I have a lot of worship music playing. I have a big whiteboard on my wall and it has Psalm 91 and I'm memorizing it. So
wow. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we hope you're well and keep writing, and we hope that you keep joining in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Shelby.
Bye.
Bye. That was fun.
I know.
That was really fun. I loved that.
Maybe every day we'll end by bringing someone in.
That's so great. Mark was on there, but I don't know if we can find Mark again. Mark is my brother.
We chose Shelby over Mark.
We chose Shelby over Mark. Okay, well, that's a really good idea. I loved meeting Shelby, who was really sweet and very inspiring. And Catherine's going live now, so we better get off. All right, thank you all so much for joining us.
We will
Home
see
together.
you tomorrow.
God bless you all.
Right?
Yes, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Have a great day.
We're talking with Mark Groves about relationships and how to keep your relationships strong. I love his account, Create Love. He's really inspiring and really practical. So Mark Groves is going to join us tomorrow. We're going to talk relationships. All kinds of relationships.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.